Top HFY stories, embracing our instincts. In the quiet hum of the Galactic Council's chambers, tensions rose between the various species of the universe. The Shathar, a race of sleek, silvery beings, stood at the center, advocating for their newly proposed peace treaty, while the humans, represented by Commander Lisa Graves, remained calm in the corner. Their race had never quite fit in with the others, often dismissed as chaotic, impulsive, and brash, but Commander Graves knew the truth. Beneath the surface of human unpredictability lay an unwavering force, instinct. The Council had convened to discuss a growing threat that loomed over the galaxy. The Zither, a species known for their merciless conquering, were expanding at an alarming rate. Their ships cut through space like wolves in a hunt, devouring everything in their path. Every race in the Council had their own method of defense, but none had managed to stop the Zither's advance. Commander Graves cleared her throat, stepping forward. "We cannot fight them with rules. The Zither don't care about treaties or agreements. They hunt, and they kill. To stop them, we need to understand what they fear most." A low murmur echoed in the room. "And what would that be?" asked a representative from the Varath, a race of large, reptilian creatures. "Us," Graves replied firmly. "Humans." The room went silent. The Shathar raised an eyebrow, their silver eyes gleaming with skepticism. "You believe that your race can defeat the Zither with, what, instinct?" "Exactly," she said, her voice steady. "Our greatest strength isn't in our technology, our alliances, or our tactics. It's in our ability to adapt, to fight without hesitation, to survive against all odds. We're unpredictable. We don't fight like any other race in the galaxy. We embrace our instincts." Graves paused, letting her words settle in. The other representatives exchanged looks, unsure of how to respond, but she continued. "When the Zither come, they will expect us to cower, to negotiate, to follow some set path, but we won't. We will unleash our primal instincts, the same instincts that have driven humanity to evolve, to thrive, to conquer every challenge that's ever been thrown at us." Her hand clenched into a fist. "We will fight like nothing they've ever faced before." The Council remained silent for a long time, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Finally, a voice broke through the quiet. "Perhaps there is something to this," said Zyra, a seasoned warrior from the Brainians, a race known for their battle prowess. "You speak of the animal in all of us, the drive to survive, the instinct that makes your kind so unpredictable. Perhaps the Zither will not know how to face such a force." Commander Graves nodded. "Exactly. Our ancestors faced beasts, and they won. We will do the same. The Zither won't know what hit them." The Council, realizing the truth in her words, voted to forge an alliance, setting humanity as the spearhead of the galaxy's defense, and so, humanity's primal instincts were unleashed. The first encounter with the Zither was nothing like the invaders had expected. The humans fought with fury and ingenuity, tapping into the deep well of their ancient instincts. They used guerrilla tactics, lured the Zither into traps, and fought with a relentless ferocity that took the invaders by surprise. The Zither, known for their cold, calculated strategy, couldn't predict the raw, untamed chaos of humanity. The battle raged on for weeks, but humanity never stopped. They adapted, grew stronger, and found new ways to fight. The Zither, overwhelmed by the unpredictability of human warfare, began to retreat. The galaxy witnessed, for the first time, the true strength of humanity, a force not of technology or diplomacy, but of pure instinct, and in that moment, every species on the Council realized, when humanity embraced their instincts, there was no force in the galaxy that could stand in their way. As the months passed, the battle against the Zither intensified. What began as a desperate defense soon turned into an offensive campaign that sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Alliance, with humanity at its helm, gained momentum as they continued to harness the raw power of their primal instincts. But the Zither, relentless in their pursuit of conquest, were far from defeated. They had underestimated the humans' tenacity, but now they were learning quickly. Commander Lisa Graves stood on the bridge of the flagship Vanguard, watching as the Zither fleet advanced on their position. The battle ahead would be the most dangerous yet, but she didn't hesitate. She trusted in the instincts that had carried her this far. "Ready the fleet," she ordered, her voice calm but resolute. "We don't back down." We push forward. Her crew moved swiftly, preparing the ships for what would be the largest confrontation yet. As they deployed, the human strategy shifted once again, adapting to the Zythers' growing knowledge of their tactics. Graves knew they could not simply rely on brute force. The Zyther, though fierce, were still predictable in their approach. It was time to use what made humanity different: innovation. Deploy the decoy drones, Graves instructed, a plan forming in her mind. The humans had developed an innovative fleet of cloaked, automated drones designed to mimic the appearance of their warships. As the Zyther ships closed in, the decoys would draw the enemy's fire, allowing the real fleet to move into position. The battle began with the deafening roar of weapons and the flashing of energy blasts in every direction. The Zyther, known for their precision, opened fire on the decoys, unaware of the trap they were walking into. As predicted, the humans' fleet used the moment of confusion to strike with overwhelming force. The Zyther were thrown off balance, unable to predict the sheer unpredictability of the humans' tactics. Graves was right. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their physical prowess, but their ability to adapt on the fly, to change course in the heat of battle. They embraced their instinctive ability to improvise, to turn every situation into an opportunity. Their enemies, on the other hand, relied on rigid strategies that, while effective against predictable forces, crumbled when faced with the raw chaos of humanity's warfighting style. Hours into the battle, the tides began to turn. The Zyther's flagship, a massive, dark ship encased in jagged armor, was heavily damaged by a surprise missile strike from one of the human warships. The Zyther commanders, shocked by the sudden onslaught, tried to regroup, but their coordination faltered as human ships flooded the battlefield from every direction, each one acting on the instincts of their crews. Commander Graves, now in the heart of the battle, gave the order to break the enemy's lines. The humans had learned to fight in ways that no one expected. They had become hunters, moving in packs, unpredictable, and relentless. It wasn't about brute strength alone anymore. It was about exploiting weaknesses, finding the gap in the enemy's armor, and exploiting it. The final blow came as the Vanguard herself collided with the Zyther flagship in a stunning display of human audacity. With precise timing, Graves led a boarding party onto the Zyther ship, capturing their command center in a surprise assault. As the Zyther leaders were taken prisoner, their fleet began to collapse, scattered and disorganized. In the aftermath of the battle, the galaxy was stunned. The Zyther, once the most feared force in the universe, had been pushed back, and humanity had proven their place as the galaxy's unexpected defenders. The council members, each of them representing species with their own impressive histories, acknowledged that they had underestimated the humans, but no longer. As the representatives gathered once more, this time in celebration of their victory, Zyra, the Brainian warrior, raised a clawed hand. The humans fought with the heart of a hunter, she said. We underestimated the power of their instincts. It was not their weapons that won the day, but their will to survive. Instincts, Commander Graves nodded. The drive to fight, to protect, and to adapt. When all else fails, those instincts will always lead us forward. From that day forward, the galaxy would no longer see humanity as a wild, unpredictable species. They would see them as warriors, not just because of their technology, but because of their raw, untamed will to survive. And the Zyther would never forget that the fiercest predators in the universe were not the ones with the sharpest claws or the most advanced weapons, but the ones who knew how to embrace the instincts that had kept their species alive for millennia. And with that, humanity's place in the galaxy was secured. They had shown the universe what it meant to embrace their instincts, to fight, to adapt, and to never back down. As time passed, the stories of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy, becoming legends that resonated deeply with species from all corners of space. The Zyther, who had once been feared as conquerors of worlds, now found themselves on the defensive. Humanity's reputation as a race that could not be predicted, one that fought not with precision but with an instinctual drive to survive, was cemented. The galaxy began to change in subtle, yet profound ways. While many species respected humanity's instincts, others feared them. The Zoroth, a race of highly intellectual beings who prided themselves on their meticulous planning and flawless strategies, saw humanity's unpredictability as a threat to their very way of life. They had once believed that intellect and reason could overcome any obstacle, but humanity had shown them the power of the heart, the raw drive to protect, to defend, and to fight when all logic would tell them to retreat. The Zoroth Council called for a summit to discuss the future of interspecies relations. They invited Commander Graves, now a hero and a symbol of humanity's strength, to represent her people. The summit was held on an ancient space station, a place that had once been a neutral ground for the galaxy's most influential species. The tension was palpable as delegates from all over the galaxy took their seats, waiting for the meeting to begin. Graves stood at the front, her presence commanding the room. She had grown into her role as a leader, her once quiet demeanor now replaced by the confidence that came from having faced and overcome unimaginable odds. The room fell silent as she spoke, her voice steady but fierce. We didn't win the war with our minds, or with our technology. We won because we didn't stop fighting. We didn't give up when all hope seemed lost. We embraced the same instincts that kept our ancestors alive in the wild, and we can do the same for this galaxy: fight together, adapt together, and survive together. A Zoroth delegate stood and spoke, his voice calm but firm. You are a threat to the stability of this galaxy, Commander Graves. Your species' reliance on instinct, on unpredictability, undermines the order we've worked so hard to build. Graves didn't flinch, and yet it was your order that the Zither tore apart. It was your precision that failed when the Zither came. You thought you could control the chaos, but you can't. The galaxy isn't a machine, it's a living, breathing thing, and sometimes, the only way to survive is to embrace the chaos, to fight for what matters, even when the odds are stacked against you. The Zoroth delegate's eyes narrowed. You expect us to accept your primitive ways as the future of the galaxy? Graves stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. I expect you to accept the truth, that no matter how advanced we become, no matter how sophisticated our technology, we will always be animals at our core, and when it comes down to survival, it's our instincts that will guide us, not our minds, not our plans, but our hearts. The room erupted into murmurs. Some were skeptical, others thoughtful, but the message had been delivered. Humanity had fought not only for their survival, but for the survival of all races in the galaxy. The battle against the Zither had proven that no amount of intellect or technological superiority could guarantee victory in the face of a species willing to fight with everything they had. As the summit continued, the Zoroth began to shift in their thinking. They realized that humanity's instincts were not a weakness, but a strength. It was something the galaxy needed, a reminder that survival wasn't just about calculating risks or avoiding danger, but about embracing the will to live, the fierce desire to protect, and the unwavering belief that there was always hope, no matter how dear the situation seemed. In the years that followed, humanity's influence spread throughout the galaxy. They became the unexpected leaders of an interspecies coalition, one built on the foundation of mutual respect and shared strength. The Zoroth, though still deeply committed to reason and logic, began to adopt some of humanity's more instinctual approaches in times of crisis, finding new ways to balance intellect with the raw power of the heart. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson: no race, no matter how advanced, could survive on intellect alone. It was the drive to survive, the refusal to give up, and the embrace of chaos when needed that made all species stronger. And in the years to come, whenever the stars darkened with the shadow of new threats, humanity stood at the forefront, a symbol of what could be accomplished when a species embraced its instincts, fought for its survival, and never gave up. Years passed, and humanity's role as a key player in the galaxy grew stronger. Their victories over the Zither and the lessons of their primal instincts inspired not just admiration but also curiosity among other species. What was it about humanity's nature that made them so unpredictable, so resilient, and so uniquely capable of defying impossible odds? To better understand this phenomenon, the Galactic Alliance initiated a project, the Instinctive Study Initiative, ISI. It was a grand experiment designed to explore and codify the unique survival traits of humanity. The IC aimed to uncover how humans could transform chaos into opportunity, how their emotional connections shaped their decisions, and, perhaps most importantly, how their seemingly reckless instinct to act in the face of danger became their greatest strength. The IC experiment, Unity Station. Unity Station was built in a remote region of space, Far from the influence of the galactic core, this vast orbital platform was a living laboratory, staffed with representatives from every major species, each eager to participate and learn. Humans, as the focus of the study, made up a significant portion of the crew, working alongside scientists and observers from all over the galaxy. Commander Graves, now an ambassador for humanity, was appointed as the station's director. She saw the initiative not only as a way to strengthen interspecies alliances but also as an opportunity for humanity to better understand itself. Our instincts are not just weapons, Graves explained in her opening address to the station's inhabitants. They are a compass, guiding us through the unknown. This project isn't just about studying humanity, it's about unlocking the potential of every species. Together, we can find a balance between reason and instinct that will make us all stronger. First trial, the abyssal encounter. The first major trial came sooner than anyone expected. A deep space anomaly was detected on the fringes of Unity Station's sector, a massive, uncharted rift in space emitting strange, unstable energy. Initial scans suggested that the rift was growing, threatening to engulf nearby systems if left unchecked. The Galactic Alliance saw this as the perfect opportunity to observe humanity's response to an unprecedented crisis. The crew of Unity Station formed a task force, led by a joint command of humans and representatives from other species. As they approached the rift, tensions ran high. The Zoroth advocated for a cautious, analytical approach, while the Brainians suggested a show of strength to deter any potential threats that might emerge. The humans, led by Graves, proposed something entirely different: adapt in real time. The task force entered the rift, encountering a chaotic storm of gravitational waves, energy surges, and fragments of space-time itself. Navigation systems failed, and the fleet was scattered. For many of the species, this was a disaster, a situation where rigid protocols offered no clear answers. But for the humans, it was an opportunity to improvise. Graves and her crew worked instinctively, using manual controls and unconventional tactics to guide their ship through the maelstrom. They reached out to the other scattered ships, encouraging their crews to trust their instincts and adapt to the chaos rather than fight it. "We've been here before," Graves told them. "The unknown isn't our enemy, it's our teacher. Stop resisting the storm and move with it." Slowly, the fleet began to regroup, each crew finding their way by embracing the chaos rather than fearing it. When they reached the heart of the rift, they discovered its source, an ancient, abandoned machine of unknown origin, its malfunctioning core destabilizing the surrounding space. The choice, reason versus instinct. The task force faced a critical decision. The Zoroth proposed shutting the machine down systematically, a process that could take weeks but minimized risk. The humans, however, suggested an instinct-driven gamble, overloading the machine's core to trigger a controlled collapse of the rift. It was dangerous, unpredictable, but it could save the sector within hours. Debate raged among the fleet. In the end, it came down to trust. The other species, inspired by humanity's track record, agreed to take the risk. The task force worked together, blending the precision of the Zoroth, the brute strength of the Brainians, and the humans' unorthodox methods. The plan worked. The core was overloaded, and the rift collapsed in a controlled implosion. The fleet escaped with minimal losses, and the sector was saved. A turning point for the galaxy. The success of the abyssal encounter marked a turning point in interspecies relations. The experiment on Unity Station had proven that humanity's instincts were not just a quirk of their evolution but a vital asset to the galaxy as a whole. More importantly, it showed that when combined with the strengths of other species, reason, precision, and discipline, those instincts could achieve the impossible. The IC continued its work, documenting humanity's unique traits and helping other species learn to integrate their own instincts into their decision-making processes. For humanity, it was a moment of pride, but also one of humility. They had not just taught the galaxy about the power of instinct, they had learned to see themselves as part of a larger whole, stronger together than apart. And as the stars continued to shimmer in the vast expanse of space, the galaxy knew one thing for certain: when chaos came calling, humanity would always be ready to meet it, guided by instincts honed through millennia of survival, and fueled by the unyielding belief that no challenge was insurmountable. A new threat emerges, the Silent Veil. Years after the abyssal encounter, Unity Station stood as a beacon of interspecies cooperation and understanding. The Galactic Alliance had grown stronger, its members united by a newfound appreciation for the balance between logic and instinct. But as the galaxy flourished, a new threat began to emerge, a threat unlike any faced before. It started with whispers from the Outer Rim. Entire colonies vanished without a trace, their planets left eerily silent, ships sent to investigate never returned, their distress signals cut off mid-transmission. The few fragments of data recovered spoke of an encroaching shadow, a force that moved unseen, bypassing even the most advanced detection systems. The galaxy came to call it the Silent Veil. The Silent Veil was not a conventional enemy. There were no fleets, no armies, no recognizable pattern to its attacks. It was a creeping, insidious force, consuming worlds one by one. The Zoroth analyzed every report but found no logical explanation. The Brainians mounted defensive fleets, but their ships never encountered anything tangible. The Alliance was at a loss, until humanity proposed something radical. Humanity's call to action. Commander Lisa Graves, now a legend in her own right, was called back into active service to lead the investigation. She addressed the Alliance Council with her usual blend of confidence and conviction. "We're facing something that defies logic," Graves said. "This isn't a problem we can solve with algorithms or brute force. We need to think like hunters, not soldiers. We need to trust our instincts." The council was divided. The Zoroth found her approach reckless, while the Brainians questioned whether instinct alone could overcome a threat they couldn't even see. But the humans, and those who had fought alongside them during the Xyther War and the abyssal encounter, supported her. Graves assembled a coalition task force, made up of representatives from every major species. Among them were Zoroth scientists, Brainian warriors, Shathar diplomats, and a cadre of human explorers and strategists. The mission was clear: uncover the truth behind the Silent Veil and stop it before it consumed the galaxy. Into the unknown, the task force ventured to the Outer Rim, to the last known location of a vanished colony. What they found was chilling: a planet stripped bare, its cities crumbled into dust. But it wasn't destruction that unnerved them, it was the absence of life, of sound, of any sign that the colony had ever existed. As they investigated, the crew began experiencing strange phenomena: whispers in the dark, shadows moving where none should be, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. The Zoroth struggled to make sense of the data, while the Brainians grew restless, their strength useless against an enemy they couldn't see. But the humans remained calm. They recognized the signs, not of a physical foe, but of fear itself. Graves gathered the crew and spoke with the authority of someone who had stared into the abyss and come out stronger. "This isn't just an enemy, it's a predator," she said. "It's hunting us, and it's using our fear against us, but we've faced predators before, we know how to fight back." The predator revealed, through a combination of instinct and ingenuity, the task force discovered the truth about the Silent Veil. It wasn't a species or a fleet, it was an ancient, sentient entity, a remnant of the galaxy's distant past. The Veil existed as a living shadow, feeding on the fear and despair of its prey. It infiltrated minds, sowed paranoia, and then consumed entire populations without firing a single shot. The key to defeating it lay in understanding its nature. The Veil thrived on the fear of the unknown, using it to spread like a virus, but it wasn't invincible. Humanity's instincts, honed through generations of facing predators and overcoming impossible odds, became the cornerstone of the strategy to fight back. The final stand. Graves led the task force into the heart of the Veil's influence, a dying star system where the entity had concentrated its power. The battle that followed was unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. The task force didn't rely on traditional weapons or tactics. Instead, they used light and sound, overwhelming the Veil's sensory manipulation with bursts of energy and vibrations designed to disrupt its influence. But the true victory came from within. Graves and her crew resisted the fear, refusing to give in to the despair the Veil tried to spread. They acted on instinct, trusting each other and their ability to adapt. The other species followed their lead, drawing on their own primal strengths to push through the Veil's assault. In the end, the Silent Veil was driven back, its essence scattered across the void. The galaxy was safe, for now, but the encounter left a lasting mark. The Alliance had faced the ultimate predator, a being that preyed on their deepest fears, and survived. A galaxy transformed. The defeat of the Silent Veil cemented humanity's place in the galaxy as not just warriors, but as pioneers of the unknown. Their ability to adapt, to fight through fear, and to embrace their instincts had saved countless lives. Other species began to adopt similar approaches, blending their own strengths with the lessons they had learned from humanity. Unity Station expanded its mission, becoming a hub for exploration, innovation, and interspecies understanding. The galaxy was no longer just a collection of isolated species, it was a united force, prepared to face whatever challenges the stars might bring. And as the Silent Veil faded into legend, one truth remained: in a galaxy full of the unknown, it was humanity's instincts, their drive to survive, to adapt, and to never give up, that would always light the way forward.